Welcome to the Stories from Africa podcast. This is Erika A. Style The Journey, episode 2. This podcast was recorded at Erika A. Style's residential garden. Keep listening.
And I did the interns in the restaurants. Yeah. And that was the beginning of me realizing, like, I do not want to work in the back kitchen in my entire life, wait 15, 25 years, then to be promoted as a chef.
But now, where do you get this mindset from? Because I would say that's the mindset of most Kenyans, like go study, go back home, get a job,
where do you
go
get
up
this
the
mindset?
ladder.
I mean, if you're never a top student and you're just a middle person, you'll always just find yourself trying to balance life because, if you're a top student, there's more expectation from you. If you're not a smart person in the classroom, there's no expectation from you. And if you're a middle person, you're forgotten.
Yeah, pretty much. Wow.
So I always belonged middle.
So this is not something that was instilled on you by your parents or something that you learned when you're outside there, that there are actually opportunities?
No, it was not. It was not installed with me. As I told you, it was something I always kept dreaming because I always felt there's something more outside there, and that's why when I tell you, like, even when I was dreaming, I was like, how will I ever be fly? I mean, we don't come from that kind of money, and I mean, all these questions came to me. But I think once you start putting it in your mind, and then you're like, this is the result I want. Because, I mean, you can still plan and things don't go your way, no? So that's what I believe.
And what did you do in the 6 months that you did not pay rent? Were you able to sort that rent out?
I was ready to sort it out. But you see, I couldn't continue for the 7th month. If I did the 7th, 8th month, I will not have money. Not at all.
So that's when you made the decision to...
Yeah, because, the first month, you're like, okay, it's a bad month. The second month, you're like, okay, I'm still pushing, trying to ask people. Then the third month, and then you're like, okay, now I think, Erika, Then I'm like, okay, I still have studies. Let me give faith. And then when it just reached the 6th month, I said, if I don't do something now, I will literally crawl back home.
So it's knowing when to actually pull out?
Yes. It's not... I wouldn't say it's knowing when to pull out, but you have to make a decision, which is like, after here, where do you see yourself? Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
So did you get to travel to Thailand?
Oh, yes, I did. And so this is the most interesting story. So I did, the person was in shock. This is a friend of mine, Olivier. I just gave him like 4 days notice. How rude I was. Yeah, I'm like, Olivier, you remember you told me that I am welcome in Thailand? Then he's like, yes, I'm coming on this day. And yeah... I'm always grateful to that man. Now he's back in Switzerland, married to the most incredible woman I know. She's also my friend. She became my friend. Anyway, that's...
this is not like you're going Ocha here. You're not going up country.
Yeah, I know. It's not, I know.
All the way. And you give a 4 days notice.
Yes. Yes. So that's what I did. And, I arrived there. It was very hospitable, and since he was like a big shot in the resort he was working, I could get to have almost like a family, like the privilege of when your family is visiting you. So I was given a room in one of really a good resort. It's called Banyan Resort in Hua Hin, Thailand. If you're ever interested, you can also check it out. So that's where I stayed for 3 weeks because I also had to look for my place, which the rules were like, if it's your family, you're given a month. Okay. So the thing is, like, that resort, it was so far. My amount of food per day, I'll just give you an example. It's like, my food was like 80 baht. 80 baht is like, cash, like, let's say 200 shillings, yeah?
That's my about meal. $2.
Yeah, that's like $2. But then my transport was so high. My transport was roughly 1,600 to get to the city center. So I never used to go to the city center much because where I was staying, the resort. So
that's
was
like Mombasa.
No, it was just because it's in a resort and it's in a high-end place. You don't get borders coming in or tuk-tuks or anything, and it's hidden. It's one of these places where people have money and they just they're using all these luxurious cars and everything. But anyway, I was in this place for 3 weeks, and eventually I used to go to the city center, call it town, and then they're like everything happening there. and the main city itself. And, I knew some of the friends that I knew from, going out. I met a lot of foreign people. I interacted a lot of people from different parts of the world. And this place, Hua Hin is more like, it's more like an aristocrat city. So I will say until the 1970s, I think until the 1970s, this is where the king had set this kind of place, the king of Thailand. So it was known to be that then eventually, because it's very calm, it's very different from Bangkok or any other place. So, it's very slow life with, then you also meet artists, a lot of retired Swiss people live there. I never understood as Swedish, Nordic people. So anyway, this was the kind of thing. Then for 3 months, after I moved, how did I keep myself busy? I was teaching English to kids who, their parents were mixed most of the time. So you'll find like maybe the man is Nordic, the wife is Thai. So that's how I got myself involved. So 3 months are ending, my visa is almost done. And I'm like, so where is my life heading to now? So this day, what happened to me, and this is a miracle. It is like, oh God, sometimes I go back to this, I get emotional. So I got to the city, to town. So when I say this place in town, they have street bars. It's like from one end to another. It's very interesting, yeah. So it's a whole street of bars. And different bars play different music, different things. So then this day I said, because there's this guy I knew with a wife, and I said, I'm going here because today I think I'm just going to listen to all this English music. When I say English, I'm talking about really, really English, like, we're going to play
British.
We're going to play all these British, singers. So I said, I went there and I met these 3 guys. We started talking where they were asking me where I'm from and everything. And I just told them, I'm like, I'm from Kenya. I don't want to go back. I need to find a job here. My visa is almost done. And I told them I'm on tourist visa. And they said, let's give you our card. You can find this agency to go and teach English. So
just randomly like that?
Yeah, what the thing is in life is this. You have to talk to people, whatever is going on in your head. This is where we forget. Because look at it. Now we are sitting, Lawrence, you and I.
Yeah,
we
pretty
met
much,
on Saturday.
Saturday.
If we did not start talking, we will not be here. And that's how life is. You meet somebody. If you remove the element of like, what if you remove the element of surprise or like judgment, you really get more opportunities. So I just talked and I said, because, when they questioned me and I said, actually my visa is almost running out. I need to do something. They're like, so what do you do in the meantime? I say, just part-time teaching English. Then say, you're an English teacher. I was like, no, I have no degree of even being a teacher. I'm doing this for survival. I got to have money.
In a foreign land.
Yes. So anyway, so long story short, they gave me the card. The next day I was walking on the beach. I did my prayers. Then I called this agency. They told me to come. Oh, I really had less money on me. I'm like, I didn't plan on that. They're telling me to come immediately. So I had to go the next day to Bangkok now. So when I went to Bangkok, of course, I used the minivan. I arrived and this place was going to be so far. So, you're trying to talk to these people where you're going. They have little English. So
communication is a problem.
Communication is already a problem. And at that time, it was not the time when we started using Google Translation. Like all these say that, it was not that time. It was not. And so what happened? I managed. I don't know how I got. It was another. So from Hua Hin to Bangkok is 2.5 hours drive. Then already 1 hour more to go to the interview place where I was going to. So I went there. But let me tell you where the miracle happened in my life. So I went in. I meet all these white people. I'm the only African. And I'm like, wow, okay. And all of them are teachers. Of course, I'm not qualified. What have I done? Culinary school, which I just quit.
And French that you did
and
earlier.
French, and I didn't finish. And I'm like, and it's not proficient enough even to teach. So, I'm sitting there. But what is always funny with me, I don't feel insecure with some of these things. I take them like, okay, let's see what happens. So when I went there, the lady asked me where I'm from. I told her I'm from Kenya. Then she's like, I said, honestly, I'm just here to know what are the qualifications you need.
Wait.
Yeah.
You traveled 3 hours.
Yes.
With less money.
Yes.
And then you ask.
Yes, I want to know what qualifications you need. I always think like you have to be physically somewhere to really know, because
I see.
So for me, that was my way of thinking. I was like, let me arrive there, present myself, and I asked them, what are your qualifications? Then they said, so where they asked me the questions, where are you from? What have you studied? And this and this. So, I told them, yes, I have some qualification, but I can send it in 2 weeks. When I say 2 weeks, it's like because I have to call my mom to send for me the papers.
Goodness. You didn't even go with your papers?
No, I didn't go with my papers.
How daring.
No, so, and then they said, okay, fine. So they wrote and they say, we'll communicate to you. As I was leaving the building, I met these 3 ladies. And they were and they talked to me. Says, hey, they're very interested. Where are you from and everything? So we were talking, and but one, oh my God, God bless you wherever you are. She's now in the States, married to a very good man with 2 children. So, but one Kemper, so I can't forget her. So she said to me, and says, where are you going? Then I said, I have to go back to Hua Hin. I have to go back to the other city. I just came here for an interview. So they said, we can drop you. And I was like, and then one lady said, but it's so far. We're going to be in traffic for like 2 hours. Then I'm like, no, we can drop you. So immediately, I got into the car. Of course, we were stuck for 2 hours, as the other woman had. But we had interesting conversations. And these were 3 women who helped me. I'm a foreigner. I'm an African. They do not know who I am or anything. I just told them, and they met me coincidentally. And when they dropped me, this lady said, if you ever come to Bangkok, let me know.
Another invitation.
And I was like, okay, good, And I'm like, be careful when you ask Erika for an invite. I take them very seriously,
Wow. Uh-huh.
So that's how things evolved with me. And immediately, so I went for the interview because I met these guys on Saturday. I called on Sunday. Monday, I went for the interview. Wednesday, they told me, can you come on Thursday? Because we need to drive you to another place where you're going to do camp teaching.
So you actually got the job?
I got the job. What was so funny, I realized years later when I was discussing this, that this agency, most people said they were racist. And I was like, okay, that is very interesting. Anyway, that's a story for another time.
Okay.
But I was like, how did I get the job? So sometimes, there are things you question yourself because when, years later, then I said, yeah, I worked for that agency. They're like, they don't employ whether you're Black American or anything. But I said, I got a job with them. So, as I said, a story for another time.
Okay.
So, that's what happened to me. I went, then did school camping. It was for 1 week. And I know you're going to go like this school camping. Let me tell you, that money was not even there. Because they said, we're going to pay for everything. Just pay for everything immediately. So I'm thinking, I have my visa, I have my flight to pay because I have to go to another country. You have to go to either Cambodia or any other Asian country to get your visa to be back in.
Okay.
To be back in Thailand. So I went, did the camps teaching. And then after the camp teaching for a week is when I traveled. Then I came back. So I did...
So back to Kenya?
No, back to Thailand.
Oh, back to Thailand. Okay.
Yeah, because what I did, I went to Cambodia to get my visa.
Okay.
So you leave, then I was in Cambodia for a week or 10 days, something like that. I came back in the country.
Okay, in the country, okay.
So yeah, but there's another story also for next time when I went to oh my God, Laos. That was the most interesting part when I was going to get my other visa. So I got into Laos and at the border, they told me, because I took a flight and everything, at the border they told me, oh sorry, we stopped giving visas to Africans. Then I'm like,
what?
How? It's like, yeah, because we were having problems with you guys fighting. Nigeria is here, this country is here, you're all making noise. And when sometimes you know how some of these Asians are, they hardly like complications. They don't. I mean, to explain to you is a privilege. Let's say that explaining to you is a privilege.
It would just be a no and a no and forget about it.
So when they say like we stopped doing it because some countries were allowed to get their visas from Laos. So there's this guy there, we're all in a queue, and he says, "Oh no, but she's only. I just give her." Then the guy says, "So this is when I'm passing Thai to Laos." Then the guy which had already even finished my stay in Thailand because I'd not got my flight on the day I needed it to be done. So I told the flight people that if I'm going to Laos, I'll have a visa problem for 2 days. And then they're like, yeah, you just pay the fine, which I was like, okay, the way they're just saying it, you just pay the fine. Yeah. And anyway, so when I got into the Thai Laos, the guy in Thailand said that to me, you're not going to get the visa there because they have refused now Africans. So I walk to the border, I get to the Laos part, and the guy says the same thing, like we stopped giving visas to Africans. Then he says, if you get into Laos, you can stay here for 3 months, but immediately go to your country. And I'm like, huh? I don't want to go back. I want to go back to Thailand. I mean, this is where I think I am. I've been teaching now for quite enough months, and it was not really my passion, but I enjoyed the kids, and they really taught me enough. And the good thing, I was not in a particular school, so I was being changed from one province to another province.
So you're also traveling what you really wanted to do.
Yes. I'm traveling all within the city, the country. So this is what again happened to me. So I am innocently, and then there's these 2 guys who are defending, and they say, okay, if she didn't know, just let her in. And then the guy's like, no, we can't do that. If we do that, she has to stay in the country. She has to stay in Laos. So I'm thinking to myself, I said, no. I just walk back to the Thai immigration side.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, they have told me literally I can't get a visa. So if I stay in Laos, I have to stay here and go
back home.
The guy just looked at me and waved, and he's just like, pass. Like, that is something I always look at myself, I'm shocked. Like, I'm already illegal.
Yeah, you're already illegal. And you're the immigration.
Yes, and he just looked at me and he just said, pass. So that's why I said, when I look at myself, I have a very different story being an African. And I also have a very different experience in different countries.
The question I have is this. Does this mean that as Africa, we are bundled together outside there? Or is there a difference between Nigeria, Kenya,
Oh no,
Egypt?
of course. No, all these countries they have a difference. I mean, even when you go to different establishments, they know. When you look at most countries in Southeast Asia, of course, a lot of Kenyans are given job opportunities. I mean, even when I was in Singapore. So anyway, I studied in Singapore for a short course in fashion. So like when you look at Singapore, even when I met the Kenyans, they were working there in the banking system and in accounting. Yeah, so there's a better repetition. And then, as any part of the world, there's friction on some people who have a limited mindset. That is everywhere in the world. So for me, it was the best years of...
But why would they say we're not giving this to Africans? Why
no, because they had a problem. When they say that, they had a problem with Nigerians, and, Nigerians, of course, they're known to be very loud, and they will be like, why are you, I think what was happening, which I'm trying to assume, what was happening is like, if a Nigerian is in the queue and a Kenyan is in the queue, then a Kenyan is given a visa, then he's not given a visa. It becomes a problem. So for them, they're just like, no, we don't want to deal with you people. You're all the same for us. We don't want to deal with you people.
So Africans, when you travel out there, kindly let us be good people. Let's not complicate life for other Africans. Not pointing fingers though.
We are not, but yes. Okay. So... that's what happened, and that was a miracle. So I had to take a bus now because my flight I'd planned to be in Laos for 3-4 days, but of course you can't cancel your flight. So I had to take a bus. Now the bus to Bangkok to Cambodia. Let's say that is mostly, if I give it, was I 21 hours? Yeah, just to be on the other side.
21 hours is like crossing the entire country.
And
Kenya.
that's a bus. That's
yeah,
a
even
bus.
on bus, it's Mombasa to Tanzania, almost Uganda, the other side.
And the roads are better and everything, but
so
still, it was still very long. But I mean, at that time, you want. I mean, you already look at the miracle which has happened. You're like, this is nothing compared to the miracle which has just happened to me. So yeah.
I see. So you crisscrossed. You crossed using the bus.
And then I went to Cambodia, got my other visa.
Oh, so you were able to get the visa?
Yes, but not in Laos. So I had to get in Cambodia.
Okay.
And so I came back to Thailand. And with Thailand, I think it is my first time after I worked with the school camping. The lady in one of the schools I had done my teaching said, "Oh, the students really love you. We would like you. Can we give you like a permanent position?" Oh my God, that was the end of me.
From one miracle to another miracle?
Yes, but that was the end of me because it was not my passion. I was getting this money to survive. And I was like, oh my God, dressing these clothes every day? Hell no. So it was definitely, I didn't want to give an immediate answer. And I said, I need to think of it. So,
But was the pay good though? For if you're to be...
I mean, the pay was good, but still that was not my passion. It was a passing, it was like, this is just passing. I need to pay the bills. I need to eat and everything. But that's not where I visioned myself. So I had to take 1 week. I had sleepless nights. And I was like, okay, if I don't say this, and I was thinking to myself, okay, if you're quit and the agencies even quit on you, you don't have a job and you don't even have enough savings to say, I will try and look for another job.
Something else.
Yeah.
At this point, what is your passion?
When you say at this point,
at that
point.
Fashion now.
Fashion. Definitely.
So at the back of your mind,
yeah,
everything in your mind is ringing fashion, but you have to do this job just to survive.
Of course.
Had you tried to find opportunities that had to do with fashion at this point?
Oh no, so let me tell you the story.